If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I think indie developers are the heart and soul of the industry. Indie devs work almost exclusively on passion projects, in other words, games they want to make, stories they want to tell, ideas they want to expand upon, and mechanics they want to integrate into a game. Now don't get me wrong, AAA studios have their place, of course, but it's usually in the realm of independent games that you'll find unique ideas and mechanics. Take Super Magbot, for example. Developer Astral Pixel made a platformer in which you can't jump. You'll be hard-pressed to innovate any more than taking away one of the key mechanics of a timeless genre. Well, and the game is insanely difficult. The only simple thing about Super Magbot is its premise. A giant asteroid is careening through the galaxy and is on a crash course for the Magnetia star. You're Super Magbot, a robot who can control positive and negative magnetic polarities, and this essentially makes Magbot a kind of superhero. And using this power, you'll need to traverse over 150 levels spread out through 4 worlds. Super Magbot boasts a beautiful and clean 16-bit pixel art style. The visuals act as a great nostalgia factor, as is usually the case with retro art styles, but they're crisp and vibrant. In other words, it's easy to see where you are, where you need to go, and how you'll eventually get there. It's also important to mention the awesome work Moonsailor did with the game's soundtrack. The chiptune music is catchy and never overstays its welcome. As a matter of fact, I've still got the first world's theme stuck in my head, and I regularly hum it. Now, this might not seem like a key factor in evaluating a game like Super Magbot, but trust me, you'll be spending a lot of time in levels. To say that Super Magbot is insanely difficult is somewhat of an understatement. Because you can't jump, you need to use magnetism to your advantage. Every level contains strategically placed red and blue magnets, positive and negative respectively, that you must use for traversal. For example, if you want to jump up to a nearby platform or even push yourself off a wall, you'll need to aim toward the magnet and use the same polarity, or color really, to propel yourself up and away. Conversely, if you want to climb a wall, you'll need to aim toward a magnet and use the opposite polarity to attract yourself up and over. On a very macro level, that's your sandbox from hell. Use the appropriate color to jump and climb. Of course, there are tons of obstacles in the way to make sure things stay interesting. You'll need to avoid spikes, blades, bullets, pits, and much more. Simply put, anything that isn't a platform will kill you, and sometimes even platforms will. And yes, of course, you die in one hit. And while a tough challenge is the main feature of Super Magbot, it's also much more than that, and to focus solely on the game's difficulty is a disservice. Foremost, it's a masterclass of game design. You aren't thrown into the deep end right off the bat. You're eased into the game's mechanics early on, and the first levels of each new world serve as a playground to get comfortable with the new mechanics and hazards. Now granted, this is Game Design 101, absolutely. However, it's implemented so well that you don't notice it. The game organically teaches you what you need to know. Think of Super Mario Bros. First level, where you learn how to navigate and deal with enemies by actually playing the game. No pop-ups, no tutorials. Just you and learning from your mistakes. Level design is also fantastic. You know where you need to go, and the path is clearly laid out before you. The work that's been put into Super Magbot's levels shows just how much love has gone into the game. It would have been easy to settle on using the basic magnet mechanics for traversal, but Astral Pixel really pushed their ideas to the limit. They experimented with different effects. There are platforms that can be used only once, platforms that disintegrate if you stand on them for too long, platforms that bounce you higher and farther than normal ones, and more. Throughout the game, Astral Pixel continuously develops its unique mechanic. The game throws curveballs at you at a consistent rate, ensuring that you never get too comfortable. Just when you think you've mastered everything the game has to offer, something new pops up and forces you to adapt. Speaking of adapting to surprises, bosses await you at the end of each world, and every one presents a unique challenge unlike any others in the game. They're all different encounters as well. So for example, one boss will chase you to the end of a level, while another is a more traditional encounter. Another one will force you to climb up rapidly, and in all cases, you'll need to use the full extent of your skills. Boss encounters aptly break up the routine of moving from level to level, and they're very welcome surprises at the end of each world. Of course, Super Magbot's great design is complemented by its tight controls. And while the developer did away with one of platforming's key mechanics, it absolutely nailed responsive controls and solid platforming action. Even if sometimes after my 40th death on a level, as much as I wanted to blame my failure on any number of things, it was nobody's fault but my own. Super Magbot is challenging enough as it is, and it's great to know that bugs or sloppy controls don't interfere or bump up the difficulty artificially. It's a testament to just how fun and well designed the game is that you'll want to keep going even after failing 50 times or more. Because the controls are so tight and everything is designed in a way that you'll learn from every mistake, you'll always feel like the next try will be the good one. And whether you notice it or not, you'll get increasingly more comfortable with each level's quirks until you manage a flawless run. And there aren't many feelings like successfully navigating what is initially a very challenging level, one you tried a few times and thought would be impossible. Super Magbot also offers an assist mode to help players out. You can choose to activate some options to make things a little less difficult. So for example, you can gain unlimited magnetic charges or even enable checkpoints in levels. Now assist mode won't necessarily make the game easier, because you'll still need to have quick aiming skills, but it will make the game's difficulty more manageable. That being said, Super Magbot is a difficult game, and it holds nothing back. It's the kind of game that you need to approach with an open mind, a lot of patience, and the desire to push the limits of your skill. It absolutely is not the kind of game that you boot up for an hour or two for relaxation. You'll fail again, and just when you think it's over, when the level's exit is just at arm's length, you'll fail. It's frustrating, sure, but it's all part of the experience. And it's all worth it in the end, because again, the feeling of completing a level despite the difficulty quickly replaces any frustration you felt in getting there. Super Magbot is a game with loads of imagination, not just because it successfully replaces one of the platforming genre's most basic mechanics, but also through the myriad levels that are put in front of the player. Each one is different and offers its own challenge. The game is difficult, yes, but if you can gather your patience and persist through it, you'll get to play a creative and tightly designed platforming masterpiece.